Hello everybody and welcome back, where it's the time where your wallet and your backlog will cry because it is the January sale for PSVR2 and PlayStation. 113 items are on sale, from DLC to full games, and today we're going to be talking through some of the games that I really enjoyed that are on here that you should consider. Before we get into it though, only 25% you are subscribed, so if you feel like subbing to the channel, please feel free to do so, and thank you to our patrons and YouTube members who keep this channel going day after day and week after week. With that being said, let's take a look. First up, Resident Evil 4 is £17.49. This is one of the best games on PSVR2, and for this price, I'll happily recommend it. Even if you're not a horror fan, please give it a go because it's more action than horror, really. And won my Game of the Year for 2023 on PSVR2. Feels so long ago now because it was quite a long time ago, but it's still just as great as ever. Moving on, Phasmophobia, £11.61. That is such a steal for a game that came out and was a little broken, but isn't anymore. Its resolution still isn't the highest on the platform, but to be honest, you'll probably get over that pretty quickly. And if you've got friends to play with, even on the flat screen, because this is a hybrid game, you're going to have a great time with this. Hunting ghosts and dying a lot. Resident Evil Village is £14. This might be the lowest I've ever seen it. And again, even if you're not a horror fan, this is one of the best games on the platform. It's simply so good. No Man's Sky, the expansive space game that I've lost many hours to, is £16. What a steal. Arizona Sunshine 2 at £23.09 is also a pretty good deal. Plus you get an extra 10% off if you have PS Plus. MADISON VR, the scariest game on PSVR2 in my opinion, is £17.99. Unlike Resident Evil, only consider this one if you like your horror. It is bloody terrifying, but it is an incredible game on PSVR2. Crossfire Sierra Squad, a fun game both for co-op and solo, is £17.54. Despite having lukewarm feelings about it when it came out, at this point in time, after the updates and revisiting it a lot, and playing it in co-op, I really enjoy Crossfire. It's seriously good fun, especially in realism mode. Swordsman VR is down to £9.74. Despite it feeling a little bit more limited than some other VR melee games I played, Swordsman's sword combat is second to none really. In terms of actually dueling, it feels fantastic, and there's a ton of content to fight through. Into the Radius is down to £16.49. What a steal for one of the best PSVR2 games of last year. If you want to immerse yourself in a stalker-like experience, then this is the place to do it. Switchback VR is down to £14.99. If you want to show off the headset to some new people, this is a great game to do so with its Horde mode or one of its levels, and it's also a great horror game for people who enjoy the Dark Pictures Supermassive games. Red Matter 2 is one of the best visual experiences on PSVR2 and almost half price off at £13.74. And Breaches is down to £12.49, which is one of the best PvP online games, a bit like Rainbow Six, and will make you just as sad when you miss your shots. Among Us VR is £4.79, almost the price of the flat screen game and a lot more immersive. Green Hell VR is £12.49. The co-op update is live now, and to be honest, it's a load of fun, but the game still doesn't look the best, although they've done a lot of improving to it since launch. Cube VR is 25% off, down to £21.74. If you like creative mode in Minecraft, this is a bit like that. There's no combat or mobs that will attack you or anything like that, but you will be free to build as you wish, but you do have to do the resource gathering yourself. The game looks fantastic on PSVR2, with some of the largest draw distances I've ever seen in a VR game. Metal Hellsinger VR is £17.49. Despite not having the highest resolution on the headset, it is a ton of fun and a really good port of the flat screen game and feels visceral and great to play. Grand Rush VR Highway Car Traffic Racing Simulator is down to £6.49. I included this as a joke, but actually now that it's here I should probably clarify, please don't buy this, it's fucking awful. After the full deluxe edition, which is the maximum edition, is £9.89. That'll give you a ton of content, and especially with friends it's a load of fun, or even queuing with randoms. It feels a bit like Left 4 Dead but in VR. Moss Book 2 is also £11.69, and is not only a great game in its own right, but also a good game for new players of the platform. Walkabout Mini Golf is £7.49, and I'd recommend it at any price, but to be honest, that price is just an absolute steal for the amount of content and fun that you get. Vendetta Forever, a fairly newly released game, is £14.24. I really enjoyed this one, felt like a mix between Super Hot and Pistol Whip, with a great soundtrack. Stride Fates is £13.74, despite some jank. I really enjoyed the parkour in this one, and Synapse is £19.49. Some of the best uses of PSVR2 features with the incredible telekinesis, and Dreams did a fantastic job with this game, but if you got PS Plus Premium, you'll get it for free anyway. Hellsweeper VR is £12.49. A load of content has been added to this, along with a 3-player co-op mode that I do need to try at some point. Vertigo 2 is £16.24. Man, I love this game. It is so good. It does have some frame rate issues, but for me, the rest of the game makes up for that. And if you're on PS5 Pro, those frame rate issues are no more, so it's a definite buy from me. But if you can stomach those frame rate issues on the base PS5, then I'd recommend it nonetheless. Saints and Sinners Tourist Edition is £23.99. This is the first game that includes pretty much all the content from the Tourist Edition add-on. Still one of the best VR games. This many years later, Skydance really know what they're doing. Propagation Paradise Hotel is half price at £7.99. Despite a bit of a lackluster ending in my opinion, it still is a fantastic horror game on PSVR2. Puzzling Places is £7.99. Again, a really good game for starter VR players. Not much movement, you're just building 3D puzzles, and I really, really love this one. Jurassic World Aftermath Collection is £4.99. Now that is an absolute steal, down from £24.99. If you're a Jurassic World fan or Jurassic Park fan, you're going to get some kicks out of this. You'll also save 5% more if you've got PS Plus. And despite it not being the most detailed VR game in the world, I still really enjoyed it as a fan of this franchise, and it's not been this low before. Demeo is £16.49. The Dungeons & Dragons Hero Quest-esque game on PSVR2 that has full crossplay and is bloody fantastic. And VR Skater, a punishing but fun VR skating sim, is £10.19. Ancient Dungeon is £11.99. This is getting multiplayer at some point in the future, I'm not quite sure when in terms of a time frame. It is worth it just for the single player. It's one of the clearest games on the headset despite the art style. You wouldn't think, but it is so sharp in the headset. It runs unreprojected and the combat is so fun, and so is the loop of heading back into the dungeon again and again. Snow Scout is £11.99. This game will take you a couple hours to complete and has you skiing around a resort before it opens for the season. Your only contact will be somebody on the radio on the other side of the mountain who will ask you questions as you go. I really, really enjoyed this one, and it won my Indie Game of the Year for 2024. The Utility Room, a really scary and foreboding and weird and also really short VR game, is £11.19. If you're willing to take the plunge, I would still probably recommend it because it kind of will stick with you, but it is really short. I will make that very clear. Lastly, a game that I actually haven't played on PSVR2 but I've heard a lot of good things about nowadays is Galaxy Kart at 50% off, down to £7.99. This is also on PS Plus Premium though, so if you've got that, you'll not need to buy it because you'll just have it. But anytime I mention to Brian on Without Parole that I haven't played it yet, he very strongly encourages me to do so, so I'll do the same to you here. So there we have it. There's many other games on sale. I encourage you to go and take a look, but those are the games that I would really highlight as being some of the best. This is one of the biggest sales we've ever had for the platform, and it's the perfect time to pick up a couple games to really beef up your backlog. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next one.